proactive documentation is not necessarily the best. All right, so what do I mean by that? Um, Proactive documentation meaning you're documenting everything that you can think of ahead of, a feature release, ahead of an event, ahead of, something rolling out. Um, it's often good to do, and people really try hard to really make awesome proactive documentation so that when they roll out that new feature or that new tool, that everyone's super equipped with all the information that they need. And sometimes that's true. Oftentimes it's not exactly true because when you're proactively documenting information, you really can't predict everything. You don't know exactly what's going to break in that feature or how people are going to understand that feature once they get their hands on it, or how people are going to understand that tool when they get their hands on it, and what questions that they're going to have. So a lot of the information in there won't be accurate to people's exact needs. And I'm sure, like, if there's any support folks in here, you've probably been in that world before where you've gotten some great documentation on a new feature release, but there's this weird quirk that's not really answered by the documentation that you've received, and you have to go and ask somebody more, a product expert that built that feature around like what's the expected behavior or something like that. And so we don't want to waste too much time doing everything we can to try and predict everything. So figure out what the sort of who, what, when, where, and why it makes sense for you and your team to proactively document, but don't sort of kill yourself with trying to think of every possible scenario or doing so much robust documentation. You have to kind of accept that, like, hey, I'm going to document what we know, and there's going to be a lot of unknowns, despite my best efforts. And so it's going to lead me into the next KM principle here in a second, but you sort of need to kind of understand that we can't predict everything, and so let's document what we need, what we know, and where it makes sense to document what we know before, an event, or before, a new hire onboards or a tool rollout or something like that. But really, what you want to think about is having a defined process for reactive documentation.